Please welcome the Non-Exec Director, Stephen O'Hara.
Good evening. Can I just check, can you hear me okay? It sounds as if you can. Well, so my name's Steve O'Hara. I'm the CEO and founder of OptiBiotix. I'm a scientist by training, but I guess I'm an entrepreneur by heart. I've built a number of companies. I built an early eBay, before eBay and Amazon. I built a company called Acolyte Biomedica that I grew from just an idea into a company I sold to 3M Healthcare for 40 million. Then I was the director of 3M Healthcare, global director of healthcare for 2.5, 3 years as part of the deal. But today I'm going to talk to you about a really interesting area, one of the most exciting areas of healthcare, and it's the microbiome. So all the microbiome it's the microbes in your gut and on your skin. And they have some remarkable properties. So if I just go to this diagram here in front of us, and I start on the left-hand side where we have this tower block, that's the number of cells in the body. Okay? More importantly, the grey part here are the number of microbial cells, and the black part, the number of human cells. So you have far more, 10 times more microbial cells in the body than human cells. And that's important because if you look at this sphere here, you have a large sphere, that's the number of microbial genes. The little dot in the centre, okay, a red dot, that's the number of human genes. And all these genes produce proteins, they produce enzymes, and they start to impact upon human physiology, human metabolism, and they impact upon a whole range of diseases. So diseases like cardiovascular disease, autism, Parkinson's, and increasingly it's been shown in a lot of the cancers. So it's a really exciting area. And you can see the number of publications. So this shows the interest in terms of the amount of publications in this area. Initially, as you might expect, Europe did a lot of the earlier work, a big investment by Europe, and USA followed. Around about 5 years or so ago, maybe slightly longer, China really started to develop a lot of technologies in this area. And this is the investment in the area. So you've got a really exciting area which is impacted upon a lot of diseases with lots of publications, lots of academic interest, and now lots of investor interest. And part of the reason why is if you look at this area here, the World Economic Forum described this area as one of the top 10 emerging technologies. And there was a collection of medics in end of 2016, beginning of 2017 in Cleveland, and they looked at those technologies that would impact upon healthcare in the next 10 years. And the top one was actually the microbiome. And they called the microbiome healthcare's most promising and lucrative frontier. So it really is quite an interesting area. And there's more we don't know about the microbiome than we know about the microbiome. So a lot more to come. But part of the reason is this area here. So you've got this person here, an obese person and a thin person. What they've discovered is that the more diverse the microbiome, the leaner the person. There's quite a few microbial genera and species associated with leanness. And I'm sure I've told many stories in the past about the transfer of feces from a thin mouse to a fat mouse that makes that mouse thin. Also, there's quite a lot of work over the last 3 years or so with fecal microbial transplants. We can transfer leanness from one person to another and create a lean individual. We're not in the business of selling feces, so we created a number of products that are far more exciting than that can have the same effect. And this is some of the market interest, okay? The microbiome market is growing at 22% per year. It really is growing very, very quickly, albeit from a very low base. And it's seen as $1 trillion opportunity. And within that market, we've done reasonably well, been nominated for a large number of awards. I'll come to some of our other awards later on for our products and our technology. And we're usually in the newspapers every month or so. We've been in The Economist, we've been in The New Scientist, we've been on the front page of The Telegraph, we've been in The Times. So it's an area that has got high interest. And part of the reason is because there's so much interest in this space, and it holds so much promise for the future of healthcare. That's a little bit about the market, so a big opportunity growing very, very quickly with a lot of promise. Just a little bit about the company that I founded it in 2012. I listed it in 2014 via reversal. I was the only person in the company when we listed it, okay? The only person, there's no other employee. We had a couple of non-executives who were not paid as employees, but paid as consultants. And since then, we've grown massively to 6 people in the company. So there's 6 people in the company, and that's important because we have a very low burn rate. And so we raised in total 7.3 million. And we now have a market cap around about 75 million. Okay, so we've grown very, very quickly in a short space of time. It's interesting. I look around the room now. I see a lot of investors that I've known for the last 4 or 5 years who've been with the company since the share price was 8 pence, and it's grown, as I say, quite rapidly over that period of time. So our principal focus is to develop products to modify the microbiome. So by changing the microbiome, you can impact upon health. That's the central premise behind everything that we do. Because when I entered this arena, I thought it's quite a risky area because, as I said earlier, there's a lot we don't know about the microbiome. I created it across 4 platforms. I'll come to those in a second. Our results of 2019, we had 1.67 million funds. Just after that, I raised just over $1 million for a pre-IPO for one of our divisions called Probiotic Health Limited. And we'll probably try to list that separately on the stock market later this year or next year. We're not sure yet what market to list we're on, the standard list, AIM, or maybe some of the European, US or Canadian markets. So we'll have a look at that later on in the year when the market settles down a little bit. The market is very patchy at this moment in time with all the uncertainty. We're just entering that commercial phase of the business, and what you've seen in the second half of last year, our revenues increased nearly 6 times in the first half, the second half, and we were 2.8 times increase on 2017. So we're still quite low in terms of revenue, just over $500,000. As I say, we started commercialising in 2017 in Europe, and later 2017 in the US. And our model is a partner model, so we don't sell products directly ourselves, although we've started to move into that area now, our own platform. We commercialise by having deals with partners who manufacture products, then develop our products, our ingredients into final products, and also through distributors. And I'll come to that in a bit more detail later. We've had very, very strong deal flow, okay? 37 deals in the last few years. So and you'll see the increase. 1 in 2016, 10 in 2017, 18 in 2018, and we're roughly about 2 deals per month in 2019. So strong deal flow, which shows that we've got a lot of partner interest. If I'm honest, we've got more partner interest than we can cope with. It really is an interesting area. And just in that short period of time, the product's now in 30 countries. Have been commercialised in 30 countries. So we have very much, this links back to my time with 3M, got a global outlook. The UK is quite a small market, and it's quite a concentrated market. So our approach is to go into Europe, and go from Europe into the US, then go into the Asian markets. And you'll see later how we've approached that. I mentioned that we're starting to sell our own products. We launched an online platform in September of last year. That's been growing massively, quarter-on-quarter sales, 18%. Some of our products like Corbiome XXX, is this product here, which is for cholesterol management. That's increasing by about 50%, 55% in the last quarter, almost quarter-on-quarter. And what's really, really nice, that we spent time building the science, and we won a lot of awards for our science, and we won a lot of awards for our products. And these are industry awards, so it's nice to get that appreciation from your peers. I just give a little bit of detail behind the structure. So this is us, the parent company, the PLC. When you enter a new marketplace like the microbiome, which is very new and the science is evolving, it's quite a lot of risk. So I decided to reduce that risk by creating different approaches to modify the microbiome. This area here, Skin Biotherapeutics, that deals with the skin microbiome, and that's a separate company that I listed on the stock market back in April 2017. And that's a really interesting company and growing very, very quickly. And we've got the CEO from Skin Biotherapeutics here tonight. So that's the skin microbiome. This area here is where we're we're changing the microbiome by adding bacteria. We're adding what are called probiotics. That's a $40 billion opportunity, and that market is growing at 55% per year. Okay, particularly in the US. And we've got a product there called LPLDL, which we've got clinical studies to reduce cholesterol. We've got another area here, which is probably the most exciting area in terms of science and opportunity, where we created what are called prebiotics. These are feedstuffs for bacteria. And we can create feedstuffs that change the bacteria individually. We can change bacterial species, even down to strain level. By changing the genera, the species and the strain, we can start to manipulate the microbiome in a very targeted way. So we can precision engineer the microbiome to create what are called bioactives or short-chain fatty acids to really start to change certain diseases. That is really quite exciting. And one of the areas we call sweet biotics, as we create these prebiotics, we can add sweetness to them. So we have products that are 240 times the sweetness of sugar, and we have products the same sweetness of sugar for different markets. So that is a massive opportunity, and we've got 3 deals in that area. This area here is where we're creating products using existing science. So again, they modulate the microbiome, but they're very much focused on getting products on the market and selling them. So in terms of diversification of risk, this is on the market now. This particular one here, Slim Biome, a weight management product, selling very, very well. We gained a medical advice last November, so it's very, very rare to get medical advice for a weight management product, and we achieved that. We put it on the online store in last month. We sold £2,000 worth within just over a day. This is the prebiotic area, something more for the future. Probiotic, lots and lots of deals, and as I said, skin. So quite a range of opportunities. This one's on the market currently. This one we hope to put on the market sometime end of this year or start of next year, depending on what happens with the stock market, and we'll decide what market to put it on, whether it's UK, Europe, or maybe the Canadian or American markets. I won't go into too much detail on this particular slide, but the key thing maybe to bring out is what we're trying to do is get a lot of the IP, and we build up what we call double IP, so a mixture of overlapping patents and trademarks, which gives us a very, very valuable asset. And just going back to, I mentioned the probiotic strain, LPLDL. I just want to give an example. Christian Hansen bought one strain called LGG, from a company called Valio for 82 million, okay, on revenues of 9 million. So you can see the multiples that you get from here. And this strain here, LGG, is quite well established, but it doesn't really have the science behind it and the potential to impact upon health as LPLDL. So I'd like to think that we can get LPLDL to this sort of valuation over the next couple of years. So a big opportunity in this area. Again, just to re-emphasize, what I'm trying to build here is a company that has multiple platforms which can take the products into multiple areas, so we have multiple revenue streams. So you diversify your risk across a range of opportunities. I just want to go through our commercial strategy, which is, I think, quite a nice approach to take forward a business, but it is quite difficult for investors to understand. So quite simply, it's an Intel Inside model, okay? So we're selling the Intel, or we're licensing the Intel. And these are our 2 major products at this moment in time. I'll just go through this one first of all. So this is our strain, our probiotic strain that reduces cholesterol. We have a manufacturer called Sacco, based in Italy. They manufacture, I'm going to give you figures which are general figures here, they depend on volumes, but they manufacture for around about €200 per kilogram. They sell it for €1,000 per kilogram. And that difference, 800, we get half the profit, okay? We've got no other involvement other than giving them that licensing agreement. So they do all the work, and we get half of the profit. They then sell it to other partners, so they manufacture the strain, so it's a little powder that they sell, which is freeze-dried. They then sell it to formulators, so these are companies who will take it and they'll put it into sachets, they'll put it into boxes, they'll put it into tablet form, a bit like your paracetamol tablets, okay? They then sell that either to us, so for example, for something like this, we'll buy this from them for around about €3 and we'll sell it for €30, somewhere in that region, depending on the part of the world. Or they will sell it themselves and they'll give us 12% royalty fees. So that's sort of an example of where we're trying to get revenues for different parts of the value chain. And for a number of our agreements, when we license it then to a distributor who sells the end product or a retailer, they'll give us some royalties on the end product. So what we're trying to do here, if you sell ingredients, you've got to sell an awful lot of ingredient to actually make a lot of money. So we sell ingredients, but we also sell product, and we also license the brand, so LPLDL and Slim Biome to distributors. So you get, going back to that, you get money coming in more parts of the value chain. Okay, that's a key part of the model. So in terms of Intel, it's a little bit like you're selling the Intel in chip to Hewlett-Packard and Samsung, etc., and they also paying you when they sell their products, and also when they sell through PC World or online. So I just want to go through this deal structure now, the way that we've been building the business. I start here, and I'll go down to this later. So we start with a concept, we prove the science in the laboratory, then we carry out human studies. At the same time, we build up manufacturing partners, our application partners who turn into tablets or capsules, and our distribution partners. And as you go into that process, you create the market interest, convert the interest into agreements, then you start delivering revenues. And we're just about there. And just to take you through our development in terms of the 37 deals, and we'll have another one tomorrow that we'll be announcing, now it's past 4:30. We started off with some development deals. That's a deal with DSM to produce a prebiotic for their probiotic. Then you have the blue manufacturing, yellow formulation, red distribution. And the key thing is you go forward from 2006 to 2018, you can see an increase in number of distribution deals. So these all represent closing out the value chain. So where you have a manufacturer, a developer, and a distributor. So for each country, and we're now, as I said earlier, in 30 countries around the world. So for each of those countries, we've got someone who can manufacture, someone who can develop particular products, and who can sell it. And that takes time to build up. But what it means, if we look at it in a bit more detail, is when you get to a point where you've got the value chain complete, then you start to really increase your revenues. That's why the second half of last year increased almost 6 times. So we're at the cusp now of commercialising our products, where we're completing that value chain and getting revenues in from all those different groups. And just as an indication of our sort of deals, so this is sort of size of partner that we've got. We've got a fifth of our partners are more than $1 billion turnover, okay? A couple of more than $100 billion turnover, a couple of sort of 30, 40 billion. So these are big companies. So when I used to run through them, I had a $4 billion turnover business. I wouldn't even think about having an agreement with anybody unless I could get $1 million revenues from them, okay? So those sort of companies, we should be getting $1 million revenues per year from them. They take longer, but they give you access to large markets. The other 80% are less than $1 billion turnover. And as I said earlier, the market, so you went to Europe first of all, you start selling in Europe, then you go into America, and then you go into Asia. We've got an awful lot of interest in India. We've got a number of deals in India, and we're working with one company. They sell 500,000 products per day on their online store. 500,000 products per day. Okay. Remember, this is a big market, the Indian market. 1.4 billion people. A larger portion of Indians now middle class or high income than all of America. So you can see it's a really big opportunity. So you can see we're starting to build the business in the right way. And these are some of our products. So I won't go through them in too much detail, but this is our product. Slim Biome's the ingredient. Go Figures, one of our products that's for weight management. But I'll just go through a couple of things on it and bring out some key points. We've won a number of awards. So this one here, we won the award for Best Functioning Ingredient. And this one here, a really big award. That's an international award for Ingredient of the Year for Weight Management at Vita Foods. And part of the reason for that is all our products have clinical studies. Clinical studies from Oxford University and from Roehampton, and the idea behind Slim Biome, it's not really a weight management product as the industry knows it. The idea is that we can all lose weight if we eat less,
but what we try to do is help people to eat less by curbing their cravings and curbing their need to eat sweet and savoury foods. And what we find is that from the studies, exactly what happens. As a consequence, people lose weight largely from their hip and their waist, and also we get changes to the gut microbiome. And all these are published, and you can see those on our website. And again, to bring out, actually, also quite importantly, when people use the product, we did a survey, 150 odd people, you find that they use it in the field. So it actually works in practice as well as in clinical studies, which sometimes doesn't happen. I mentioned the CE mark, which is really important as we go forward in Europe. So really good product, lots of awards and lots of customer reviews. Just go to Amazon, our own website, and you'll see all the reviews. I won't go through this in any great detail. I just want to show this bit here, okay? So this is Slim Bio on calorie restriction, showing you lose weight and you lose it from your waist and your hip. But this shows as you lose weight, you don't get, if you diet and you get hungry, you get miserable. Well, certainly I do. And so what this shows is actually mood improves over time. And this is statistically significant that you've got some really good mood scores improving over time because people are losing weight and are not feeling hungry. And that's a key difference between this and any other product that you'll find in the marketplace. Moving on to our other product, again, similar sort of thing. We've got some good data on it. A clinical study, just under 50 subjects. Great product in terms of reducing cholesterol by over 30%. Bad cholesterol reduced by 13%. Increased good cholesterol and lowers blood pressure. And we're also finding that users are finding that the same sort of results. We're getting, and you'll see this again on the website, it's all publicly available, people are getting reduction to cholesterol of 30, 40, 50, and even 60% using some of these, some of our products. So it's looking pretty good. And again, some really good deal flow. We launched in the US in 2018. This is the product that we'll put into probiotic health and then list that on the market. We're looking for a CEO for that company. We'll probably have a CEO appointed in the next couple of months, maybe the next couple of weeks if we get it right. So it really is a big opportunity here. And this area here, grass, what that does, that allows us to move what we have already as a supplement into food and drink, particularly the yogurts. So that's another big opportunity there going forward. That's just what I said earlier. The growth of the probiotic supplement market in the US is 55% per year, and you can see the size of the market, and yogurt growth is 25% per year. Moving on, I'm just going to summarize now on the last couple of slides, okay? I just want to bring it all together. So this links into commercial and scientific progress, lots of deal growth, rapid expansion into, remember this is just 2 years, and this is a partner model where we're working with groups who have to validate it themselves and don't believe it until you show them and often try it themselves for a period of time. Rapid geographic growth, lots of patents, big increase in quarterly sales. We've also adopted a strategy rather than just sell supplements. So we sell the ingredient, we sell the final product, and we also sell either the medical device or, in this particular case with LPLDL, we've got 3 deals with pharma. In essence, they pay for all the development and they give us milestone payments. And just to re-emphasize, we had some new board directors joined us last year. Neil Davison is well known within in the industry, and Sean Christie. The pair of them invested just under £500,000 last year in the company, just after joining us. So that gives you an idea of the confidence they have in the company going forward. On the science side, lots of human studies, so in some good data. Lots of good studies on our sweet biotics that are coming through, grant approval, and some other application opportunities where our probiotic also kills some major gut pathogens. So just the last slide now, just to sort of recap in terms of the investment opportunity. If you can invest in something, don't invest in a market that's mature, invest in a growing market, invest where the opportunity is great and is growing quickly. That's what we've tried to build this business around. As well as investing in the microbiome, we invested in those areas, weight management, diabetes, cardiovascular disease, that will kill probably one in, or even 2 and 3 of us in the years ahead. And we're leading that particular area. Now we speak to the DuPonts, to the Nestle's, the Kellogg's, and we know where we are in this. We're certainly ahead of all of those. So a big opportunity. We are leading this market. It is forecast to be one of the world's fastest growth areas. We've got our science winning awards at conferences. We've got our products winning awards at exhibitions. We've got lots of industry interest. So as you go through a business, you have technical risk, and we've gone past that. You have clinical risk, in terms of clinical stage, you've gone past that. We're at the stage now of commercial risk, and that deal flow would suggest that we've got, that's much reduced. And we've got these multiple opportunities that are building up, and they're coming through time and time again. And last year, probably 85% of our revenues are recurrent. So we'll build upon that year on year and build the revenues. So again, lots of deal flow in terms of financial case, lots of commercial agreements, and with these growing revenues and industry recognition, we think the future looks pretty good for OptiBiotix. So thank you very much for all those invested in us to date, and thank you for all those who may be interested in investing in us. So thanks very much.
You ask a question every single time.
This won't be difficult. Can you please remind us about the unnamed American pharmaceutical company wanting to take LPLDL and develop that as a medical drug?
Yeah, so this is a company, I said earlier that we're trying to build a business, not just across different platforms, but within those platforms create different opportunities as ingredient, as a product, so in the case of LPLDL as a supplement, but also as a drug. Now, the drug market is very high risk, so I don't really want to go into that market and invest 7, 10, 20 million in building a drug opportunity. So we struck a deal with an American company who will pay us 6-figure sums for certain milestones, and they will probably, we had one last year, we'll probably have one, possibly 2 this year, and then a final milestone. So it's in total a 7-figure sum, plus another 6-figure sum for an option to go outside the US, and they're creating the drugs. They do all the FDA submissions, they do all the manufacturing approvals. So we're just changing our manufacturing process now for what's for FDA approval. So we raised a little bit of money last year to get FDA approval for our manufacturing facilities in Italy, and that will actually add further value not just to the American company, but also in the Pakistani and Indian markets, because they're, in addition to the American company, the Pakistani and Indian company who also are developing a pharmaceutical. So we've got, as David Evans would say, multiple shots on goals. We won't score all of them, but we'll score enough to beat Barcelona. So that's the key thing.
Hello. This is a new area for me. What I was interested in, at the beginning, I thought you were talking mainly about skin surface. As we go along, I get the feeling that a number of your products are somehow, you actually eat them somehow.
Yeah.
Can you see most of them are that way? Can you give some sort of idea of the balance?
Yeah, so I'll go back to an earlier. I'll go back to this slide here. So what I've tried to demonstrate is that we've got multiple platforms, okay? This one on the left-hand side is a skin product, okay? That's a different company altogether that we put on the stock market. All these other areas are things you ingest in some way. You ingest either as a supplement, so a tablet or a capsule, a bit like paracetamol, or you ingest it as a sachet, where you might put it into add some water or juice, and you take that as a drink.
One last question.
Well, thanks for your presentation. I just wanted to clarify your probiotics aspect of your business. Are you in competition or cooperating with companies like, say, Yakult and Danone? So, just to kind of
So let me separate those two. So they are in the business of creating probiotics. A lot of the existing probiotic businesses come from the dairy industry. So they create products that improve your general health, okay? So they don't have a product which has a specific health benefit. We've taken what was out there already from Danone and Yakult and a range of others, which are yogurts that are linked into general health and gut health. And we said, well, can we take it to the next level? Can we actually identify a strain of probiotic that gives you a particular health benefit, okay, which you know how it works? We've identified a mechanism of action. We know how it works. It works by an enzyme called bile salt hydrolase. That breaks down bile acids. They then don't get taken up by the body, and so that reduces endogenous cholesterol, the cholesterol you produce. So we know the mechanism, and we spent a lot of time, a lot of money screening 4,000 strains. So it's in the same area, but it's 2 or 3 steps beyond, okay? So I'd say it's the next generation in terms of probiotics, okay?
Thank you very much. Stephen O'Hara, OptiBiotix.